Hey everybody, Coach Wharton here with onlinebikecoach.com, and today I'm going to show you some 8x8 second intervals using the Moxy saturated muscle oxygen sensor. This is a zoom in on a long set of 8x8s, and we're going to start by just looking at the basics, but you can see that when we look at the intervals, here's the interval set right here. There's a good saturation recovery. Here's another interval set right there. And we're going to talk about the very fine line between doing too much and then just getting it just right. So you can see that when we throw in the wattage, my peaks were fairly uniform, but I tried to do an active recovery for the first 15 or so. And it's interesting because I reached, when we throw in the heart rate, you can see that my heart rate really went up into some high numbers. There's a 172, there's a 174, there's a 175. And when we take a look at the intensities, here I am down in the 2% range with a 5% recovery. There's 2.6, there's a 5.5%. So our saturation and desaturation is literally like 3% as we did the active recovery. Now, after about 15, I realized I just could not continue, and I was just going into ghost pedaling for the recoveries. And you can see that the heart rate dropped just a little bit, but I still got the nice training effect, because here we are at an 8%, and then we're down at a 4.7. There's 8.8%, and there's 4.7%. So it's a 3.5 to 4% range. And the reason this is important is when you look at it on a mountain bike ride, mountain biking is incredibly stochastic on the acute sense. Now, it's really, really hard to tease that out using heart rate alone. You've got to get the saturated muscle oxygen in there, and it gives you a better idea of the quality that you're going to get out of each interval. I'm going to replace heart rate with wattage one more time, and you can see that, again, here I am at 380 watts. Here's 300, there's 430 watts. There's 427, 445 watts, but the difference is in the complete recoveries. This is something that you can literally only get from the saturated muscle oxygen. And it is possible to do intervals based on the value that you see. So if I was to get mine down to, let's say, 6% and then recover and get it back up to 9% and then go again, 6%, there's 9%, there's 5.7, there's 10.2. I could basically set a 5% range, and as long as I was able to hammer them, I would be getting a really good training effect. Now, this is where things get kind of interesting. You can see that my THB continues to rise. Let's throw the wattage in there just for the sake of it. But you can see that as I'm doing my active recovery, THB is rising and rising and rising because it is desperately trying to feed the muscle. By the time I get into the full recovery and bring the high SmO2 back up, you can see that THB is high, it's staying high, and it's just moving 0.02 of a point, 1/100th of a point, little things like that. This is a place where I would like to sort of see a new study going on, because right here you can see that this number is starting to decline, and there's really no correlation with the decline in SmO2. So the power was still being put out. The recoveries were still content, but somewhere along the line, fatigue and or dehydration really set in, and I lost that critical 1/100th of a point or 2/100ths of a point, and I was overreaching at this point. So it's really about, let's see, 38.56 to 39.54. So it's just under a minute. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with this. If you are curious about using saturated muscle oxygen for your training and you want to see what the physiological effects of acute intensity really look like, start with the demand. Thanks for watching and enjoy the ride.